This video is about the Phylum Chordata, produced by Jackson Bartak, Colin, LaFave, and Brooks Vosik.
General characteristics of the phylum Chordata. Chordates are organisms that contain a notochord, which is a rod running along most of the body. This helps them with balance and support, especially when it's moving. So there are more than 65,000 living species of chordates. They include mammals, fish, amphibians, reptiles, and birds. Chordates also have bilateral symmetry. They have segmented bodies and muscles, a ventral heart and blood cells with a closed blood system. They have digestive systems, and then most chordates have bones or cartilage.
Okay, so the first member of the phylum Chordata would be fish. And some general characteristics of fish would be that they are not any non-tetrapod craniate that has gills and fins and doesn't have any limbs. And all of them have a streamlined body which help them to swim, and they breathe through gills by taking oxygen out of the water from where they live. And most of them have a dorsal fin and an anal fin. They can have multiple dorsal fins, but usually only one anal fin. And most of the fish contain jaws to help them eat stuff, except there are two types of jawless fish. Those are hagfish and lampreys. And they lay eggs in the water to reproduce, and usually their skin is covered with scales. The second member of the phylum Chordata would be birds. And some general characteristics that birds have are they have a beak but no teeth. The beak helps them eat. Sometimes it can help them reach into trees, pick out insects, things like that. And they all have feathers and wings, but not all can fly. Obviously, examples of flying birds are like the bald eagle, robins, finches. But then you have your turkeys, pheasants that can't fly. And they lay eggs that have a hard shell. So when you see like a mother robin protecting her eggs, even though those shells are hard, they still can break easily. And their hearts have 4 chambers. And their skeletons are very lightweight, but they're still capable and strong. And an interesting fact is that they have over 10,000 species. The fourth member of the phylum Chordata would be the reptiles. And just some general examples of reptiles would be alligators, crocodiles, turtles, tortoises, snakes, animals like that. And just some characteristics that most or all of them have. They all have 4 limbs, except obviously the exception would be snakes, but the snakes are descended from a 4-legged ancestor. And they have kind of a unique reproduction process. So the fetus develops inside the mother's body, and then it hatches out in a placenta, which is similar to an eggshell. And they're cold-blooded, so they can keep a constant body temperature when it's either too hot or too cold. So that's why some lizards and snakes can survive in the desert pretty easily. And they breathe through lungs. And their skin is usually watertight and filled with scales. So it's really, those scales help keep the water in that they need and the water out that they don't need. And they usually are active during the day, so they're diurnal.
So mammals breathe air, and they have sweat glands. They have hair, fur at some point in their lives. Even baby whales and dolphins have mustaches when they're born. Mammals have specialized teeth to help them chew food. They bear live young, and they feed their young milk. They also spend much more time caring for their young than most other animals. The only other mammals that don't bear live young are the platypus and echidnas. They lay eggs. And then mammals are warm-blooded, and there are between 4,500 and 5,500 species of mammals alive today.
Okay, our last member of the phylum Chordata is the amphibians. Amphibians are cold-blooded, which means they can't generate their own body heat, so they have to work to maintain a constant body temperature. Amphibians go through a metamorphosis as they age, which is a complete change of form from their juvenile form to their adult form. Amphibians live both in the water and on land throughout their entire lives. Their skin keeps in moisture to maintain their body water content while they're on land. And their females lay eggs. The babies that hatch from these eggs start out in the water, and as they grow, they start to move on to land when they're older and when they're more mature and ready to take on the stress of living on land.